it just resonates more in this day and time. I don't know why. I've got a feeling I know why, but it just needs to be resonate. So that's coming up on Coffee Talk. Stick around here just a few minutes. We're going to do some a little community bulletin board test.
And guess who else is coming in?
Things. Yep.
Mike Young.
Mike Young is awesome.
I am so now. That's the guy that I'm jealous of because he can do things with metal that is just ridiculous.
Incredible artiste, and
he really
is. With rod iron, Young's Rod Iron over. He has a shop over on Darby Street, and unbelievable.
He's really
the
talented.
Work that he's doing over there.
He does stuff that looks very delicate, but then again, he does the stuff that looks beefy and
he does repairs too. So if you have like rod iron that is just, that's broken or there's something going on, it needs to be refinished. He can make it look great.
But if you're like me and you kind of are a little iffy on when is it time to say when on some of that stuff, and when is it? What's the upkeep on a lot of that? How do you keep it from rusting? How do you, what's the upkeep on all of it?
I think he told me once he gets a hold of it and does it, it'll last a good little while.
He is amazing. So stick around for that. He'll be here in just a little bit as well. And of course, we're going to go over everything else. Of course, there's pork chops that have got to get grilled and sold this weekend, and revivals, and you name it. It's pretty well happening. There's going to be something for everybody this weekend, which, see, I love. I gotta find something I don't love. I say I love that too, way too much.
No, that's okay.
I don't know. And there is Nate Huggins. I love our people. That's see. I loved. Would you just give me a break this morning?
I'm here. I'm just watching the excitement.
I don't know which is worse.
I'm
the
watching
pirate
the
that doesn't they never shut up, or the Ty that doesn't say a word.
I'm taking it all in.
Are you trying to be Johnny Depp and just be like relaxed and cool?
It's my Friday silent.
Well.
So we're going to have 50 guests today, looks like.
Yay,
That's great.
Oh, yay.
I love
That'll be mine. Now I need a bell. It's 8 o'clock at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Pam Huso. Another Democrat drops out of the presidential race. Bill de Blasio says it's not my time.
De Blasio says he'll continue his work as mayor of New York City, and he'll keep speaking up for working people. He did not endorse any of the remaining candidates, hoping to win the Democratic nomination.
Fox's John Decker. President Trump tweeting New York City is devastated. He's coming home. The president dismissing reports about a whistleblower complaint.
That whistleblower complaint focuses on Ukraine and a phone call that the president had with a world leader in recent weeks, during which he allegedly made a promise to that world leader. Now, this phone call is already under investigation by Democrats in Congress who want to know if the president and Rudy Giuliani were trying to get Ukraine to help the president win re-election.
Fox's John Roberts. America's listening to Fox News.
W277CK Princeton.
There's an advantage in being the home team. You know who. Emma Talley, Jake Lewis, and Pat Gates are. You've seen the wall around Butler Stadium and have heard of the Caldwell Crazies. Trice Hughes. We're your home team. Here's our home team deal of the week.
A 2018 Chevy Cruze Premier, 24,000 miles. An ADA retail price, $17,750. Trice priced at $15,900.
Get this home team deal of the week at Trice Hughes. Find us on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or tricehughes.com.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Kentucky Home Realty. Time to take a look at community news here on 1580 103.3 WPKY. This morning's community news is brought to you by Community Medical Clinic.
Well, join Adams Breezy Hill Farm, Luna Veterinary Clinic, and the Caldwell County Animal Shelter for Adams Breezy Hill Farm's Cups and Pups event. Now, the Pet Adoption and Vet Day event will be tomorrow, September 21st, from 10:30 to 2:30 at Adams Breezy Hill Farm Restaurant and Mercantile on Cadiz Road in Princeton. Vaccine clinic, microchipping, pet adoption, free puppuccinos, and treats for the kids. Free samples of new coffee flavors in the Mercantile. 10% off your meal, of course, with donations.
Everybody's invited to join the Caldwell County Extension Office tomorrow at 11. They will fire up the grill to benefit the Caldwell County Backpack Feeding God's Children program, which provides food for kids right here at home. Grab a grilled pork chop sandwich or a chicken breast sandwich for $6. Help support a great cause. It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Well, the community is invited to attend the Constitution Week reading. Now, that's this Sunday, September 22nd at 2 p.m. at Planners Pavilion in Princeton. Selections of the U.S. Constitution will be shared by members of the General John Caldwell Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, and Tom Johnson Chapter, Daughters of the Confederacy. Now, the gathering will celebrate the 64th anniversary of Constitution Week and the 232nd anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Constitution.
Hey, when you get done with that, join the Princeton Art Guild for Jazz on the Lawn. That's coming up this Sunday as well. That's from 3 to 5. It's at the Adsmore Museum. Bring lawn chairs and blankets. The event is free to the public.
Well, Fredonia Cumberland Presbyterian Church would like to invite everyone to Revival, featuring guest speaker Brother Paul Tucker and Brother Peter Jeffrey as music minister. The revival will kick off this Sunday, September 22nd at 10:50 a.m. with a fellowship meal to follow. Continues Sunday night at 6 p.m. and Monday through Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m.
Kids of all ages are invited to attend the George Coon Public Library monthly Crafternoon. The Craft Club is a free program open to kids and students of all ages, but if your child is really small, your attendance is requested as well, so you can accompany them so they can complete the project. Craft Club will meet the last Tuesday of every month at 4 at the George Coon Public Library in Princeton. The next club meeting is September 24th.
Well, the First Baptist Church Clothing Room will be open the fourth Tuesday of every month from 8:30 until 10:30 a.m. Of course, the next opening will be September 24th. Now, there's a large selection of clothing for men, women, and children. Please use the Cave Street entrance door. First Baptist Church is located at 300 West Main Street in Princeton.
What does your morning sound like?
Morning, Al.
Next stop, 32nd Street.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Hi, can I get an Egg McMuffin, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Listen up, ladies. Avenue 550 in the Eddyville Mall invites you to their Fall Ladies Night Out event. This special night is Tuesday, September 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. Fall will be in full swing at Avenue 550, and new products will be revealed that have not yet been seen. There will be vendors set up throughout the store, store-wide sales, door prizes, and refreshments. The girls at Avenue 550 can't wait to see you at their Fall Ladies Night Out, Tuesday, September 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Avenue 550 in the Eddyville Mall.
Life can get pretty stressful, and sometimes it's good to talk to someone you can trust. The professionals at Princeton Counseling are here to help. Michael Lasser and Sherry Pinniger Ward will listen and help with anger management, court-ordered services, mental health assessments and evaluations, alcohol and drug assessments, and more. Call for an appointment today at 270-874-7033 or 270-625-0319. Princeton Counseling, 111 West Washington Street, Princeton.
Life today can be frantic. It's easy to become overwhelmed. You long for a space to slow down. At Meadowview Flowers, they have created a space to do just that. As part of their 6th generation family farm, Meadowview Flowers brings the seasonal beauty of regional flowers to you. The You Pick Flower Garden is open to the public on Saturday mornings, July and August, or by appointment. Bring your family or simply enjoy some much needed alone time. Find them on Facebook or meadowviewflowers.com.
1580 103.3 WPKY Coffee Talk is on the air. Morning conversations about things of interest to you. If you'd like to be a guest on Coffee Talk, just email us your information at WPKYonline@gmail.com. We're proud to call Caldwell County home. WPKY.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Coffee Talk is on the air with Tess and Ty and Robert Ward. I love him. No! Hey, if there is anything to do with the Constitution or with history, this is our guy right here, Robert Ward.
Ooh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for the compliments, but I don't know near as much as y'all think I do. But
well, you fake it good.
Well, yeah, that's sometimes that's the name of the game.
We are celebrating Constitution Week, started on the 17th of Constitution Day, running through the 23rd, and we thought, who would be the perfect person since you're going to do some reading on Sunday? Let's talk about the Constitution and as it leads up to the reading on Sunday.
Well, the Constitution, as everyone knows, is one of the most important documents that was ever written, and most especially for the United States, but I think for the world when you really get to looking at it. And it was written in 1787, but it is still viable today. It kind of grows and changes as America grows and changes. And that's where the amendments come in play. The framers of the Constitution, they set up a process where you could update it, so to speak, but you have to go through the process. A lot of people wants to jump up and down and say, well, why can't we do this now? Well, it's against the Constitution. So if you go by the law and you do what has to be done, then the thing comes up and for a vote by the states. And when so many ratify that amendment, then it becomes law. It was brilliant. Now, I mean, 232 years ago, how could they foresee the things we see now? Well, they really couldn't, but they put this in place so that we have this process, so that we can change as the country changes and grows.
Well, and what was acceptable then and what's acceptable now, in society is so much different. I mean, even how they sit down and eat dinner, down to even that, all of that is so much different when you think about the way that they thought, had the forethought to think about how they wanted that set up.
Yep, exactly, and that was what makes it so brilliant. And these people were not old people that set this thing up. Some of them were in their 20s and 30s. They were just brilliant men,
highly intelligent,
all the way around. Sadly, we don't see that much anymore. It seems like, but
when you think about it too, they're not necessarily college-educated, room full of lawyers and people that have got degree after degree after degree. They had a degree of life, is what they had.
They went to the School of Common Sense,
right?
Somewhere down the line. We've lost a little of that too.
There's a guy named Thomas Paine, I think, that wrote something about that, didn't he?
He wrote a lot about that. He wrote a pamphlet that was some people felt incendiary, called Common Sense.
That's exactly right.
And if you've ever read that and you get a chance to read it, it's brilliant. He was a forward thinker also. But anyway, this is Constitution Week. It started this past Tuesday, the 17th, and the DAR has always kind of invited me to help them with this, and I appreciate that. This year, the Captain William Prince chapter of the SAR is going to have a little part in the program too. And then we, like with the Declaration of Independence reading, we get by with a little help from our friends. So members of the DAR, Daughters of American Revolution, SAR, Sons of American Revolution, UDC, United Daughters of Confederacy, and SCV, Sons of Confederate Veterans, are all having part in this program. And without all these people, we couldn't put this together.
I love that everybody's represented.
Well, that's the idea. And whenever we started, going back to the Declaration of Independence, we couldn't find someone that would just take it on, a group. And so the idea was we'd get by with a little help from our friends. And so we put the thing together, several of us did, and we've been doing it now that we've lost count. It's been so many years, but anyway, this coming Sunday at 2 o'clock at Planters Park, we're going to read, or the ladies will be reading the preamble and the Bill of Rights. If you've never sat down and looked it over or read it over, you will. You really need to. Everybody really needs to. This is I told somebody one time, this is our union book. This is what everybody in the country should know about your basic rights are right there, and those don't change, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
Well, can you imagine being back in the day? And the first time you ever heard of such a thing, or somebody read that to you, because maybe you couldn't read, because a lot of people back then couldn't read. So the first time somebody's telling you about all of this, and now suddenly, maybe you're a female that didn't have any rights at all, and suddenly somebody's saying, "Oh my goodness, now you have all kinds of rights." That had to be such an enlightening moment for so many people.
And the Constitution was eventually, took a while, but eventually
took a little while.
changed to include this.
Right.
And that was a good change. Some things have not. It's like everything else. Some things not always good, but it's not all bad. But we do recommend that you bring your own chair. And anyway, it'll be a short program. I'm going to say if it lasts 30 minutes, it's going to be, okay. There's a lot of preparation goes into it. A lot of guys and gals help us get everything set up. And we just, little by little, we add to it every year. And I think it makes for a good program. And this is something that us history people think that everybody ought to know and everybody ought to pay attention to. And so anyway, that's kind of what we're going to do. It's like I say, it's been several years since we started doing this, 3 or 4 for sure, maybe longer. But we look forward to seeing everybody there. We've also got, for all the folks that say there's never anything to do in Princeton, well, we got a whole lot of stuff. I know right after this at 3 o'clock, going over to Adsmore, they're having a jazz festival.
Jazz on the Lawn.
Jazz on the Lawn. And that'll be an interesting thing, too. And I think they invited some people if they wanted to come and set up and paint outside while this is going on.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're saving some of these, as a every year they kind of want to look back and so that they can see the goings on, and they're inviting people to paint what they see.
Exactly.
And then I think Melissa planned on possibly having an exhibit as well.
Yes.
There's enough to participate. So, yeah, what a great afternoon for Princeton to start with the reading of the Constitution. Now, you guys are going to highlight mainly the preamble and the Bill of Rights.
Preamble
correct?
and the Bill of Rights. Yeah, we're not going to stand there and read the whole
all the
thing,
amendments and
everything. The Bill of Rights, as you probably know, and if you don't, you should know, is the first 10 amendments.
It'd be a good time to learn, though, wouldn't it?
It is a good time to learn. We'll have there'll be a display or two, and people will be on hand to ask questions or answer questions and ask questions too. But we just welcome everybody. We'd like everybody to come. Bring the kids. They're never too young to begin to learn this stuff. I posted it the other night on Facebook, and one of the first replies I got, well, it was a good thing the lady caught it. She said, "Where's this going to be?" Because I forgot to put that part in there. Well, when I did, she come back and she said, her 14-year-old just loved history.
Aww.
And I said, well, we'll see y'all there. And they said, yes.
And
that's wonderful.
And a lot of us don't realize it. Day-to-day basis, the Constitution is in the news.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
And whether it's, we're talking about gun control, we're talking about press freedoms, all kinds of issues. The Constitution is in the news every day.
Yeah.
And it's a dynamic, living, breathing document that can be changed, it can be amended, can be updated. And people better pay attention.
Exactly.
You got to pay attention, because if you don't watch out, then all this wonderful stuff that's in it can be taken away from you.
Well,
Exactly.
and a lot of times people say, well, that doesn't affect me. That affects somebody else. That's a special interest group. Or no, this affects everybody.
No.
Everybody.
Even the Greeks said that if you don't take an interest in politics, politics will take an interest in you.
That's right.
Because what they'll do is they'll sit there and they'll figure out how to take your rights away from you, and they'll use the legal system to do it. So this, like I said, this is our union book, people. We need to know this.
Just pay attention and be proud of it, because it's probably one of the most incredible things ever written.
There is so much history in the United States to be proud of. There's some not to be proud of, and I'll be the first one to admit that. I know that. But this grand experiment that they started so many years ago has outlasted several other empires. Not that America is an empire necessarily, but several other governmental forms. The Constitution is still the best model and the only one from that many years ago that's still being used now.
And really,
so.
Well, and when you say there's bad things that happen, though, that's kind of what happened when they were putting it together. They said, look, when we were over there, this was going on. I don't want that to happen here. I don't like that anymore. Let's take the mistakes and let's do it right over here.
Yes, and that was what the whole idea of the thing was, and they tried to include everything that they thought would come up, And with the vision that they had, they did. But things change. But the good thing is, like I said, they've devised a way to change this, and you just do it by the law. You can't just wave your arms and it's done. It takes a process. And in this day and time, sadly, everybody thinks you ought to have everything at the snap of a finger, and it does not work that way. So anyway, we're doing this for you guys, and we're not doing this because we just don't have anything else to do. We're doing this because we think this is important.
Right.
And we think that everybody should know this. And that it's not because we're we just think, well, we can do this and we can show off to the public. It has nothing to do with that at all. I mean, if it was all about that, it wouldn't last as long as it has. So it's all about the document.
Passing
it's
it on.
all about, yes, and trying to educate people on their history. Now, yep, you get a lot of that in school. I will defend the teachers every time. They only have so much time. They only can teach so much stuff. And we could get into a long discussion about that, and somebody would come in here and tear me a new one because I have different ideas on, the way it should be. But ain't that what America's all about? Different ideas? Okay.
You would have been so proud of them. The kids come in this week, and Miss Trimble brought them in. Boy, they were excited about it.
Yep.
They had the questions. They were having fun with it, and you could tell they had really studied a lot of it. And they knew all of that, just backward and forward. And I was so proud of those kids because I thought, now that is what's going to make us, continue on in the future.
Yeah, this is the legacy we're going to leave. And the teachers they're the best at that than anybody, because I remember so much of what I was taught in school. Of course, when I was in math, I don't remember much about that. That wasn't my thing. But now history was my thing. And I remember I had some really great history teachers, and I believe most of them have passed now, and that's sad because we lack a lot learning now. But it's not our teachers' fault. There's so much regulation on them. Like I said, I'll defend them every time. But anyway, this is what we're trying to do. Do bring your own chair, because we got so much other stuff to do that we can't think about bringing a whole bunch of chairs out and that kind of thing. It's hard to borrow that many. So that's the major thing that we've got going.
And that's at 2 o'clock Sunday.
2 o'clock Sunday, Planners Park, right next to City Hall. And we'll just look forward to seeing everybody there. Do you want me to touch on some other upcoming things?
Well, touch on the upcoming event. I think you're going to be back Monday with Carolyn Fromm, but touch base on what's coming up later on this month that you're involved in.
All right. Well, we'll just kind of skip around a little bit. This coming Thursday night, September, no, it's not Thursday night, excuse me. Yes, it is. Thursday night, the 26th, the library, George Coon Public Library, one of my favorite places, is having a Chautauqua speaker. And Ethan Smith is going to be portraying Price Hollowell. And he was the son of Robert and Mary Lou Hollowell of the Knight Rider era. And so that should be an interesting program.
I've heard about this. It's supposed to be really good.
I have never heard a Chautauqua speaker that didn't know their stuff and that didn't do a great job, and I've heard a bunch of them. That is at 6 o'clock on Thursday night, this coming Thursday. Okay. And then on Saturday night is the Ghost Walk. And now we're coming back Monday, me and Maggie Gammon and Carolyn Traum, and we're going to be talking about the Ghost Walk and the Pioneer Cemetery then. So I'm not going to spend any more time except call for reservations.
Put it on your calendar.
And yes, put it on the calendar. Now, if for some reason you make a reservation and you're not able to some reason you make a reservation and you're not able to fulfill that, if you will call that number back so that we can fit someone else in, that would be fantastic.
I hear it's getting pretty full, or
it
almost
is,
to
it's
capacity.
getting pretty full already, and we've only been taking reservations for just a day or two.
Where do they call?
That telephone number is 270-625 2226.
There we go.
Okay,
and,
that's good.
And they will write you down. But like I said, if something happens and you see you're not going to be able to make it, please give us a call, because we want as many people as able to be able to do this.
Right.
And it's another one of those history things, folks. So and
but it's fun.
It is. It's fun. It's educational, and the proceeds go to help out the genealogy library. Okay, on October 3rd, the Historical Society, Caldwell County Historical Society, will meet its regular monthly meeting, and Mr. Lloyd Calloway will be our speaker. He's going to talk about the Calloway family that moved here in the 1830s, and there will be a discussion of the early families of Caldwell County during this hour. So that's going to be another interesting program that's coming up.
I'm just going to start following you around.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's bad for you. You got to get you in trouble every time. But also the October 18th will be I call it the trip around town for the 5th grade students. We actually were supposed to be doing that today, and we just couldn't get it together, which worked out to be good for you guys, because here I am. But anyway, we'll be doing that. And anybody that's in town that day, if they see some of the characters that we have scattered out and stuff, stop by and talk to us. We always full of answers and full of questions too.
Oh, I love that.
And then later on, and we'll be bringing this up again another time, November the 9th at Meeks Cemetery, the Captain William Prince chapter of the SAR will be doing a grave marking for 2 deceased members. It's called a compatriot grave marking, and it'll be for Mr. Stice Goodwin and Mr. Ken Gilkey, who were members of ours. So that's some of what the SAR does. And I know when I'm going to get off from here and let somebody else have the seat, but I know when you're up here at the reading of the Constitution, if you're interested in SAR or DAR, come up to one of the members and ask questions, and we can maybe get you hooked up. Both groups will help you with your genealogy if you don't know all of it. And so anyway, there you are. And,
well, thank you for coming in this morning.
Well, it's just one of those things. It worked out for everybody.
You were supposed to.
I guess so.
And we'll see you back here on Monday as well.
Yeah, Monday morning, 8 a.m.
That sounds
That's
good.
Correct. All right.
Sir.
Well,
Thank
Robert
you all
Ward,
very much.
it is 8:25 with Tess and Ty and Coffee Talk. Stick around. We've got still got Nate Huggins, so Superintendent Nate Huggins, and Mike Young.
Wow. Big show today.
It's a big show today. Thanks a lot. Come on back at Tess and Ty, 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on condo insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you took minimalism too far because there's only one chair in your entire condo and your only entertainment is one card. Not even a deck of cards, but a single card. And all your guests have to share one plate and one fork, but you're convinced that less stuff means more freedom. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the overly minimalist broom closet you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on condo insurance.
I'm Taylor McNair, Miss Rodeo America, and Boot Barn and Wrangler have asked me to share my story. A lot of girls rodeo queening, they wonder why they crown a different girl every year. And that's because there is no perfect mold. We each bring something unique and different to the table. And so my main message is for girls to embrace your individuality and have confidence knowing who you are and what you want. Wrangler at Boot Barn, proud sponsors of Miss Rodeo America.
There's an advantage in being the home team. You know who Emma Talley, Jake Lewis, and Pat Gates are. You've seen the wall around Butler Stadium and have heard of the Caldwell Crazies. Trice Hughes, we're your home team. Here's our home team deal of the
A
week.
2018 Chevy Cruze Premier, 24,000 miles. NADA retail price, $17,750. Trice priced at $15,900.
Get this home team deal of the week at Trice Hughes. Find us on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or TriceHughes.com.
What does your morning sound like?
Morning, Al.
Next stop, 32nd Street.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Hi, can I get an Egg McMuffin, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Are you struggling to afford healthcare or medications? Let Health First help you. Whether you're insured, uninsured, or underinsured, you will still be cared for at Health First Community Health Center. We offer financial and prescription assistance to all those that qualify, which is based on income and household size. Contact our office for more information at 365-9455 or visit our website. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are always welcome. Located at 1100 South Jefferson Street in Princeton. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
Fall is just around the corner, and so begins the harvest season. Fredonia Valley Bank is always ready to serve the financial needs of our community farmers by our continued support, and hope this year's harvest is most profitable for them. Over the past 125 years of community banking, Fredonia Valley Bank is proud to remain a local community bank, confident in offering the latest technology and excellent service in all we do. Drop by anytime and pay us a visit. 602 Cassidy Avenue, Fredonia, or 226 Commerce Street, Eddyville. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
It's all at your fingertips now at WPKYOnline.com. Local video, local news, local sports, local weather information, and of course, contests. Plus, you can listen to us on your smart device. Just click the Listen Now button. We've made it easier to find your favorite information. WPKYOnline.com.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty and Coffee Talk, and Mr. Nate Huggins is in with me this morning. I sure appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome, Tess. It's always a pleasure to be with WPKY and yourself and Ty. It's a great. Ty always runs off. I don't understand what's going on.
He leaves me all the time, doesn't he?
Every time I come in, he leaves.
He runs away.
I may have to take that personal.
It's not you.
No, I know.
It's not you.
He's a
What
busy
is
man.
that said? It's not you, it's me.
Well, I understand.
No, he really wasn't. He didn't want to,
I
but he left. I will say, and I did say something about it earlier. I know that with all the chaos last night that happened, that it might have got overshadowed, and I don't want it to, because I said, the teachers, and you were there. Right. We had so many teachers there last night. We had a principal running the concession stand. Right. I mean, you all really came out in support of those kids, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that it was noticed and appreciated, and that the kids really love that.
Yeah, we have a great middle school football team and a great coaching staff. And Steve Kukahiko, I always have a hard time with his last name.
We call him Coach K.
Call him Coach K. That's much easier. But the situation last night, everybody came together as soon as that Jackson was hurt. And, they got together and prayed for him. Brother Riley was up in the stands, and he got us all together to pray for the family and pray for Jackson to be sure everything is okay. And we got a report this morning that he's doing okay. Jackson's still in the hospital over in Evansville. And Mr. Smiley and Coach K and Miss White all went over to the hospital last night to check on him to be sure he was okay. And I got word this morning from Miss Towery that he's resting in the hospital, and we'll continue to pray for him and his family.
I love that, though. And I said that's what I loved when I said that earlier today, is that when you look down on the field and the kids just get together and they start praying on their own. They don't need a coach to tell them. They don't need a parent to tell them. They're a unit. They're a family, and they do that. And
I really thought it was great last night, even though seventh graders wanted to play a football game, that they didn't play that football game in honor of the Towery family. And continue to pray for his recovery.
I don't think you could have gotten any of those boys to do that.
Couldn't have focused on the game because everybody's mind was on Jackson.
They were too worried about their brother, because I will tell you, they are. It's a brotherhood, and those kids are so tight, and boy, they can go against each other in practice, but get somebody else,
somebody else hurt them. They're going to rally the troops and they're going to take care of business. They really are.
I love those kids. But we sure did appreciate all of you being there yesterday to support them.
Well, it's my first time to be able to get out there and see them, and they played great as a unit. I mean, Graves County gave us a tough go in the first half of the ball game, and I mean it was they have some great athletes in Graves County as well. But it was a great out showing last night with our middle school football team.
Well, and I will say, I said, kudos and thank you to Graves County for being so good yesterday too. for coming over and really being, as a team, they really showed, what nice young men they were too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that all in all, I thought it was, scared us half to death. But
exactly right.
I'm glad he's okay. And I know that there is a team full of young men that were happy to get those reports this morning. So thank you for everybody updating us and that sort of thing and letting us know how they are. And, homecoming week, I'm so excited. I got my jersey on this morning. I'm ready to go.
I got my colors on. My other shirt was still in the laundry, so but I do have
I'm not gonna lie.
County colors on this morning.
At about 11 o'clock last night, this got washed in the sink. So
well, there you go.
It kind of happens that way, but when you've got uniforms and everything else, so, you got sweaty kids. Mom comes last.
Exactly right.
And that's okay. I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
But, we've got homecoming. Of course, the start of our broadcast will be 5:30,
right,
and then kick off at 7.
Right.
But all kinds of festivities today, right?
Yeah, we've got the parade on campus today. It starts. I think it starts about 1:45 over at the primary school.
Oh, the kids get such a kick.
The kids get such a kick out of that activity. We're looking forward to it. I'm going to go over there and make sure that everything's going well and excited about it. Really excited about it.
I'll tell you, when I remember when CJ, now it actually does make an impact on these kids, believe it or not, because when CJ was little, he would come home, when he was at the primary school and tell me all about the parade. He thought it was something, because the football players would go by and say hi to him, and they would actually, oh, Mom, they said hi to me. The kids just get such a kick out of that.
It's a great tradition for our school.
Yes.
It really is. And the high school kids, they do a phenomenal job with that activity.
Well,
and Miss Phelps, Miss Phelps and her staff up there are second to none. They do an absolutely outstanding job each and every day with their kids.
I love those kids. I think it's another thing. I talk about them constantly, I think, but they mentor the younger ones, and if you can watch it, and they're not doing it because they're made to do it. They're not doing it because somebody said you go do that. They're mentoring on their own time. They're helping out a kid.
Right.
There's some of them that go and sit with maybe some less fortunate or some special needs kids at lunch just because they want to.
Exactly.
Nobody's making them do it.
Read to them. I mean, they do a phenomenal job from our high school down in our lower schools.
I'm proud of them.
Absolutely. Our homecoming court, I tell you what, it was in the paper the other day. I think, let me see what date this is. I think I got it covered up. Anyway, the homecoming court, I just want to read what they had in the paper here. Freshman attendant to Tally Branch, senior queen candidate Lucy Goffnett, senior queen candidate Kaylee Grimes, senior queen candidate Lane Grissom, junior attendant Kelsey Adams, and sophomore attendant Savannah Scott. A great-looking group of ladies on the front page of the paper.
They're going to be all shined up tonight, I bet you.
I think there's a dance at the high school Saturday night.
Of course.
And they're going to put their groove on and their best moves. And
it will be
it'll be
a great
phenomenal
weekend.
activity for our kids.
It will.
At the high
I love
school.
seeing them, though, because they always have the corsages, and they're always, in the dresses.
They'll be decked out. I
love that.
They'll look beautiful.
Before you know it, it's going to be senior night. Do you know that?
It is.
I mean, it's just right around the corner.
And then we're talking about the activities we do in our school. When they do graduation walk or senior walk in our schools, that is a special moment as well. I mean, the kids really love to see them come down with their cap and gowns on in May.
Well, and for somebody who hasn't attended, if maybe homecoming is your first chance to get out to Tiger Stadium, they do have the big posters down there at the field, and those are going to be of your seniors that are, of course, even in the band and football and cheerleading, because we don't want to leave anybody out. And so make sure when you look down there and see who's graduating this year.
I tell you what, our field and facilities look phenomenal. Will Brown and his crew have taken a great care of our fields, both the soccer field and the football field this year.
We get a lot of compliments.
I tell you what, they do a great job.
Well, and I'm going to say it because I'm just that way. I bleed blue and gold. I swear I do.
Right.
But when we go other locations and go to other schools, I'm pretty proud of where I'm coming from.
I guarantee it. We'll match our facilities up against anybody.
I love it.
And if to go into our schools, primary through the high school, it is clean. Kids have a great facility to go to learn in. It is absolutely wonderful from our custodial staff. They work very hard to keep our schools clean for our kids and our faculty and staff.
Brother Jerry Holman.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
He used to be a pastor at our church. So he's one of them, so I'm going to say hi. And he's over at the middle school, so he's really got it.
I mean, they do a great, middle school kids, they're kind of messy sometimes.
Mine are. I don't know about anybody else's, but mine are horrible. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, even with the Band of Pride tonight for homecoming. Now, this is going to be the first time that they've ever done their full show presentation.
Right. Yeah,
so
I'm
it's going to be nice.
Looking forward to this.
Drumline's even got a special piece.
Well, there you go.
You're going to see the Titanic tonight.
It's going to be wonderful.
It really
Mr.
is.
Thomas is working hard to make our band the best that it possibly can be.
I'll tell you, he really put in some extra special, fancy things in there that they're really doing this year that I hadn't seen in years past. And I'm pretty excited to see it all put together in one big thing.
A band member, you can look at what they do each and every day for practice. It is phenomenal of what they have to go through, the steps that they have to go over and over and over to get it right.
Well, not only are they having to step in time, which let's be honest, I do good to walk to the car.
Well, me as well. I'm not real graceful most of the time.
Graceful is not my middle name, Nate.
I'm with you.
But if they do that and they're playing an instrument at the same time, and that instrument alone is complicated. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's just football players. They think that we have it tough on the football field for practice. Go through a band practice one time. It's tough.
Nope.
It absolutely is.
There's a reason why I play piano, because the piano doesn't go anywhere. I can sit still and play the piano.
I'm with you.
I don't have to pick it up and take it anywhere. It is where it is, and I like that part of that. But when we talk about homecoming and then we talked about senior night, it's just all of it is flying by this year. It seems like, and I have been a part of. Some years it drags on. It just does. It drags on and on and on. It seems, but this year it's just flying by.
I tell you what, our faculty and staff are keeping our kids engaged every single day. And I'm just extremely proud of what they do for all the kids in our school district.
Those volleyball girls.
I tell you,
you can't talk enough about them.
I tell you, I don't know if I want to play and get. I'm trying to think of her last name again for all the.
She goes in for the kill now.
For the shots.
Yes.
She's got the record on shots.
Yes.
And I've lost her name off the top of my head.
Bless your heart.
Well,
I don't know why.
Anyway, I don't
You've
know
only got like two.
I've got
how many kids?
1,780, I think.
My goodness.
1,850. I have a hard time with remembering my own kids' names.
I don't know why. But I'll tell you, they're doing phenomenal. And I loved it this year when we had Volleyball Thursday on WPKY. And, of course, that's kind of the first year for that. And I have loved it. I had never heard a volleyball game really on the air until this. And I have been so excited and so stoked for those young ladies because they work so hard. And I think this gives them, a little bit more recognition, which I think that they deserve. They work so hard, and I get so excited with it on the air.
We've got a great volleyball team, and they can move and take it all this year. All they have to do is continue to play as a team, and when they play as a team, we're tough to beat.
Well, and
we
again,
really are.
Very bonded group of young ladies. Courtner has done a wonderful job with them.
Excellent.
And they are really bonded as a team. They work well off of each other. And I think that makes all the difference in the world, is when you've got a good coach and he knows, he or she knows how to get these kids to really come together.
Right.
So, hey, and we've got, soccer. They're doing wonderful in soccer as well.
Soccer.
And I hear the academics. Of course, we were just talking with Robert Ward about Constitution Week.
I'm going to go over a few things that we're doing in the high school this week for Constitution Week. This is in the civics class. The learning targets describe the Constitution, how the Constitution reflects the government's ability to meet the needs of the people. Identify and explain how the Bill of Rights protects individuals' rights and freedoms. And let's see what it is for. I think that takes us through the end of the week. But we also have a presentation that's going on inside the cafeteria that's on the monitors up there that that talks about Constitution of the United States. So they're getting, and all our other schools are lining up too and talking about Constitution and Bill of Rights in their classrooms.
I love that though, because that's going to prepare them for the future.
Prepare them for the future. Let
They
them
will
know
understand.
that they do have a right as an American citizen to meet their needs and be protected by our laws.
Well, Miss Trimble does an excellent job with them. They were,
Yes, she
you know, the young ladies that were in here the other day really knew it forward and backward and was having fun with it. And I think that's half of it right there, is having fun with the kids. You know, I think they learn so much more when they enjoy it and they can really dive into it.
Our kids are successful because our teachers are getting them up out of their seat and being involved in the classroom. I mean, we've got the STEM stuff that's going on in our classes now through the Gear Up grant through Western Kentucky Education Co-op. We were blessed to be a part of that activity, and we're bringing that from the primary school all the way through the high school. And when they can get involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, with other techniques for learning, our kids are going to grow leaps and bounds because of this activity.
I don't know how they do it, really. I mean, because there's so much, the advances in technology and the advances in just in learning and in the way that they use the technology now. It just blows my mind.
I mean, we're going to start looking at having web conferences between students in high schools. I think sometime down the road. I mean, we'll interact with other schools within the state, maybe in the nation, via the computer. Everything is going to, and technology changes, like you said, every single day. And what was current yesterday is not current today.
And of course, we got a lot going on up at the VO too, right?
I guarantee you.
The vocational school.
Well, it's now called the Caldwell County Caldwell Regional Career Center.
Well, there we go.
And Mr. McCarty is doing a great job up there, and we offer electrical work, plumbing, IT, carpentry, welding.
Never too old to learn,
Never too old to learn. And if you want to have a class in one of those activities, you need to get a hold of Mr. McCarty, because they do have classes at night for our community. So if you have any questions about that, you need to get with Mr. McCarty up the Career Center.
It's getting ready to be cold. Believe it or not, I know we're sweating right now, but it's getting ready to be cold. Remind them of the procedure just in case we get some snow or bad weather.
Well, I will get up. Mr. Dyer will help. Of course, Mr. Dyer is going to retire. I'm glad you brought that.
We're going to miss him, by the way.
Dyer. He's done a phenomenal job in our school district.
Literally and have called that man at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he answers.
And I'm glad you brought that up. The other night at the board meeting, we put the transportation and the DPP position together, because they go hand in hand. The DPP takes care of all our students. Why shouldn't the DPP also transport all our students?
There you go.
So we combine those two positions, and effective 1 November, Mr. Bruce McAllister will be the transportation director for our school district.
Well, congratulations.
And he has the ability. He communicates well with everyone, and he knows our kids in and out, and it's going to be a great match for our school district.
I think that's great.
But to answer your question, there'll be a one call come out, and I like to do that the night before, if at all possible.
Right.
If we can read the tea leaves.
No, we appreciate it the night before.
I would rather do it the night before, so parents can have the time to make arrangements to take care of their kids, because I know there's a lot of folks that are working. And to do that at 5 in the morning, it makes it awful difficult to make arrangements to have their kids taken care of.
Well, I'll tell you, Nate, in January, if you turn on the morning show and CJ and Abigail are on their side, you'll know the school's out because they came to work with Mom.
Exactly right. But that's this kind of. But we're going to inform you the best we possibly can, based on what the weather report gives us, and we'll have people that go out and check the roads to be sure that we're going to transport. If we do decide to have school at a delay, we'll make sure.
Well, I did want to make sure.
We'll make sure that the roads are safe enough to pick your kids up and put them on a bus.
With Mr. Dyer, exiting and leaving for a little, retiring. I wanted to make sure that people knew that didn't mean that the roads were not going to be checked.
We're still going to do the same thing that Mr. Dyer has been doing for the last 6 or 7 years as transportation director. Again, he'll be greatly missed, because he has just a wonderful personality, loves kids, loves education, loves people, and does a phenomenal job.
He actually was on the special needs bus a lot.
Right.
And did a wonderful job with those kids.
Right.
And, of course, Eli is on that bus, and I will tell you, if you can get those kids, that he loved them and really took great care of them. And hey, as a mama, I say thank you.
Yeah, I guarantee it. And again, he'll be sorely missed from our school district.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Well, I got a few more things. If you got just a second.
Well,
I just wanted to tell the community that we're fixing our Butler gymnasium. We're putting a new roof on it. That we're also going to get rid of those windows on both sides, We're going to police all that up. I mean, the board.
I love that.
I mean, we have a phenomenal board of education that want to make sure that our facilities are top notch, and we're doing everything we can to do that.
The kids appreciate it too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And all the administrators, we went through instructional rounds last month, in the beginning of this month. So every one of our teachers know, or every one of our administrators know what the expectation is when we go to evaluate a teacher in the classroom. And I'm going into classrooms. I don't let them know that I'm coming. I really enjoy that part of my job.
No, I bet that's popular.
It is. Well, I don't know if it's popular or not, but I enjoy it. I like to see what's going on in our classrooms to be sure that we're giving our kids the best education that we possibly can.
Absolutely.
If I walk into a classroom and we have a glazed over look, we're not engaged with our kids.
So you went to CJ's class.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I haven't been in a class yet where kids have not been engaged.
No, I will say
they do a great job.
From primary, I've had a kid in each one of the schools now. And from primary to middle school to elementary school to high school,
right?
We've run the gamut with it now,
Exactly.
and I will tell you, I've been happy and have loved them from start to finish.
Yeah. Another thing that I went through a superintendent summit last week in Frankfurt, and they were all talking about funding full-day kindergarten. Mm-hmm. That would be a phenomenal shot in the arm for all school districts across the state if the legislation decides that they can find the money to do that. Hopefully they won't take the money from one thing we're being paid for now to give us full-day kindergarten, because that doesn't help us. We need to find another avenue for revenue from the state.
So what do we do now, though, with the kindergarten?
We pay half of it. The state pays half, and the school district picks up the other half.
So we're talking about a big shot in the arm
that we could put
somewhere else.
Someplace else.
That would be great.
That would be phenomenal. I guarantee it. And I just want to talk about our Hope and Cope centers. They do a phenomenal job for all our kids throughout our school district. And
I do want to remind, too, when you say Hope and Cope, of course, our backpack program, that's where the kids are receiving food that need it. There's a fundraiser for that this weekend out at the Extension Center, the Caldwell County Extension office out here. They're grilling pork chops and chicken. That's going to start at 11 o'clock. And you can go out there for $6 and pick one up, and that goes directly to the backpack program.
I think I know where I'm going to have lunch this weekend.
I believe I know where I'm having lunch. I don't know if you've ever had grilled pork chops, but for those people,
I guarantee you.
They can raise the pigs and they know how to grill it.
But the next meetings for the Hope and Cope Center is October 24th, December 19th, February 27th, and April 23rd. We have another great activity that's going to take place next week. It's called the Farm to Plate activity at the Roberts Farm.
I love that.
So all our elementary kids will go out there and see what goes on the 24th, 26th and 27th next week, to see what farmers do for a living and what they do for our great country.
You know, a lot of people would say, well, I know kids out here, they all know. You would be surprised. When my kids were in kindergarten, I would take in, say hi to Miss Jamie Nichols this morning. But when I was, when my kids were in kindergarten, I would take the incubators, because I used to incubate chicken eggs all the time. So I would take them out there, and we would do it right there in the class. They could watch the incubator and turn the eggs and the whole 9 yards. And it was something that was really neat for them. And then after the chickens hatched, I also brought in baby ducks and things for them. And you would be surprised at how many kids had no idea. I was surprised anyway, because I guess, we take it for granted when we live out in the country that everybody gets to experience that.
Exactly.
But they don't. And, it really, they got such a kick out of that. And it was so much fun for them. And, of course, it was fun for me watching them smile.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean,
it's a great activity. It really is. Everybody needs to see that. And our kids really greatly benefit from that activity. And our hats off to the FFA program from Ms. Woods and Mr. York, what they do for our kids each and every day. I want to talk about real briefly that Brock Thomas is no longer with us as an SRO. He's moved up to work with the emergency flight program. I don't know where he's stationed out of, but he's going to be greatly missed. He did a fantastic job for our school district, and we thank him very much for all he's done for our kids to
God
keep us safe.
bless him. My kids, again, adore him. So, I mean, those are going to be big shoes to fill.
Yeah, Chief King is looking for a replacement right now. Right now, Nate Herron's got the helm by himself, but we're having our officers, he's having other officers to stop by the schools random throughout the day.
Fantastic.
To make sure we have enough security around our school system. I need people to pray for Libby George. She's going through some medical issues. Please put her in your prayers that they can find out what's causing her to have shortness of breath. Andrea Foster just came back from surgery. She's doing well. And Bruce Farmer hurt his arm doing some work at the high school one afternoon, and he had to go through surgery, but he's doing much better. Other than that, life is good. I'm so blessed to be a part of Caldwell County, and I just want to thank all our faculty and staff for all the great job they do each and every day.
We're doing good, kid.
Yes, we are.
And I love that, because the teachers, when you can come on and you can tell, the teachers' names and just say, this person's having, and people know who you're talking about.
Right.
The teacher's doing their job.
Right, they are.
And I really like that. When the kids see the teachers at a football game, the teacher doesn't have to chase the kids. The kids run up to the teacher.
Exactly right. Because they've built a relationship with them. And that is the key to our success. We must build relationships with our kids.
And I will say, last night, during unfortunate circumstances, those teachers were one of the first people across that field to grab a kid and hug them.
Right.
And that
shows great character for our faculty.
We're watching.
We are watching.
But we like what we see,
Exactly.
and that's a good thing.
Well, Tess, thanks so much for the early morning text, inviting me to come down and talk on the radio. I love
you never know when I'm going to send one out. You got to be ready, Freddie.
I'm still coming next week because I'm bringing a surprise guest.
Oh, now see, I like that even better. Surprise me. That's a good thing.
I'll do it next week.
8:52 with Superintendent Nate Huggins. We sure do appreciate you more than you know. And we'll be back in just a second. Got Mike Young coming up next on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on condo insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you took minimalism too far because there's only one chair in your entire condo and your only entertainment is one card. Not even a deck of cards, but a single card. And all your guests have to share one plate and one fork, but you're convinced that less stuff means more freedom. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the overly minimalist broom closet you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on condo insurance.
I'm Taylor McNair, Miss Rodeo America, and Boot Barn and Wrangler have asked me to share my story. A lot of girls rodeo queening, they wonder why they crown a different girl every year. And that's because there is no perfect mold. We each bring something unique and different to the table. And so my main message is for girls to embrace your individuality and have confidence knowing who you are and what you want. Wrangler at Boot Barn, proud sponsors of Miss Rodeo America.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Hey, sunshine on my shoulders. That's what we're going to have today and tomorrow and the next week. But that's a good forecast. Football homecoming Friday, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, and that's between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Otherwise, should not rain on our parade tonight. Mostly sunny, high near 85 otherwise. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 64. On Sunday, 20% shot at showers and thunderstorms after lunchtime, partly sunny, high 86. 72 at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Bella Marie Boutique, now with 3 locations, Princeton, Hopkinsville, and now open in Madisonville. Follow Bella Marie on Instagram and Facebook.
Coming soon in the fall of 2019, a state-of-the-art memory care unit at Princeton Health and Rehab. This unit will have 38 available beds, its own dining and activity areas, which will include a multi-sensory snooze-lint room, a highly therapeutic environment for the purpose of delivering high levels of stimuli to patients with dementia. The highly desirable setting and space will fill up quickly. Please contact Angie Copeland today to secure your place. Call 270-705-0688.
For a delicious meal, try Kay's Kitchen in Princeton. They have great home cooking, just like Mom and Grandma used to do. Enjoy cook-to-order breakfast every day, all day. Daily lunch specials include favorites like open-faced roast beef, grilled chicken tenderloins, country fried steak, smoked pork chops, and catfish and shrimp on Fridays. All your favorite veggies, too. And don't forget Kay's homemade desserts. Open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 2, Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, 5:30 to 11. Kay's Kitchen, 501 North Jefferson Street, Princeton, 1 block from the courthouse.
$15.80 103.3 WPKY. And of course, Coffee Talk is on the air this morning. And right now, I've got a buddy of mine, Mike Young. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, now you just opened up you've been there for a while, but you've got a kind of a new business in town, right? I mean, you've been doing it for a while, right?
I've been doing it for a while, but I've recently just kind of started wanting to see my stuff get pushed more around here in Princeton. Most of it ends up going out of state. So yeah, I want to see more of my stuff on buildings here
I don't
in
think
town.
that's going to be a problem.
I hope not.
You've already seen some go up this week, right?
Yeah, and it looks really good. Princeton Lumber is there who's been doing that work down on Main Street. They put it up, made it look great.
Well, one of the things that I think is really hard to anybody that's had a farmhouse, you almost always have a lot of those metal railings that are outside, and usually they're about a bajillion years old, and you have they're rusted or part of them were broke, or somebody hit it with a 2x when they weren't supposed to. Somebody backed up to the porch a little too far. I mean, that usually happens a lot.
Well.
But I mean, as far as upkeep, when we have these things on our house, what are the upkeep? As far as scraping, are we supposed to seal it on a regular basis if it doesn't look chipped?
Well, I mean, if you have real wrought iron, where you have solid pickets and solid posts, you can paint it to keep it from rusting. But by and large, if you've got a 1-inch main post, you've got a 100-year rail.
Right.
And the way I was taught that, and the way it still is you can go to the old graveyards and take a look at some of them that have the wrought iron fencing around the gravestones, and they're going to be solid. And you go look at one that's about 1919, about 100 years old, and it's going to start being worn through at the bottom, and that's how you know. And that's the difference between what I build and what you're going to get at Home Depot.
Well, I'm going to tattle on you a little bit, but in a good way. And now you talk about forging. You're not going out and buying, and just painting them. Or you're forging what you're doing, right?
Oh, yeah, I am actually. Well, I buy my wood from you.
Well, see, I'll be. This is how Mike and I met. He needed wood to put in his forge one day, and so he called this girl that had some firewood, and that was me. So that's how we ended up meeting. But I've seen some chandeliers that he's worked on. You're an artist as well. You're not just let's just bang out a repair. You're an artist as well.
Well, I do. I'm actually. I just took the deposit yesterday. I'm getting ready to start work on a set of decorative rails for the stones over at the Joshua Tree Boutique.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're doing some work over there that's just going to be gorgeous. And their custom set of rails is going to have a series of panels in it that are going to be a bit of a floral arrangement. Something kind of similar, at least in the same ballpark as what I had recently hanging in the Art Guild.
And if they missed it in the Art Guild, now these I loved them because they look delicate, but again, they're metal. They're not as delicate as they look, but they looked so delicate, and they were roses.
They are.
And how long does it take to do one rose? Tell the truth.
I think I would like to say that I'm pretty good at it now, but it still takes, once I actually start into shaping it and putting the details in it, it's still about an hour a rose at least. And that depends on what time of day it is. Later in the day, it takes a little longer.
Well, and in the middle of summer, that is hot work. That's not cold. That's hot.
It's pretty toasty.
Yeah. That's got to be a little miserable, though. You got to love what you do.
Well, I love being my own boss. Once it gets to that point and I feel a little cooked, then I'm going to go home and get me some food.
Well, now the chandeliers and that sort of thing, like the lights that go on the front of your house, maybe the big chandelier in the middle of the room, those are things that you're kind of coming up with the pattern yourself. That's not something where you're just mass producing everything, right?
On some things, there's a helical light that I had designed not too long ago, and that is of my own designs. Most of the lighting design, and this is who I defer to, on pretty much everything, is Randy Farmer. He's another one of our locals. He's been around here a lot longer than I have, but he does the design. He's got an eye for it, and then he brings it to me, and then I'll make that happen. But no, with the lighting and what's actually proper for the house that you've got, you want that eye, and not just the eye, you want the experience that goes with it. That being said, I do like designing my own stuff, and I like when I get a chance to.
Well, I've seen tables that he's done. I've seen huge art pieces that are military inspired that he's done.
Yeah.
I've seen chandeliers. I've now seen corbels. Is there anything you can't do? I've seen roses.
Well, I don't mess with aluminum much, but I can do it.
Well, see, you can. He's really good at it, and I will say, for personal experience, I think it's neat. I pick on him a lot and tell him I want him to teach me how to do that. I really don't. I don't want to. There's part of me that wants to know so bad, but I know how much work goes into it, so then I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, which I would love to have you up there. It would be great. But I am looking for an apprentice. I've got a couple of guys that I go to when I need to get caught up, but they also have full-time jobs, and I would love to find a young, clear-eyed man to come up there and learn the trade. Or a woman, either or. I really don't have too much of a preference as long as they can work hard. And, it's a drug and alcohol-free workplace, so, that should go without saying.
Well,
but
it's hot metal and all. I don't like it. It might be a good idea. When you think about it, though, that's something that I think we take for granted when we first walk up to a building and we see some of the metal work, we see some of the architecture, and we say, oh, well, that's cool. We don't think about how much goes into it. And you had a spiral staircase the other day. And so, literally, some of the old pieces we can make new again if we get a hold of you, right?
Yes, and I love to do it. The more that goes into it, the better, which, also because that's extra time, and it's kind of like a puzzle, like with those corbels, that was mystery metal. It's steel, but only barely, because there's just so much other stuff that's in it. It's not like what we have now. It's not like the steel sheets that I have hanging, and welding it kind of presents its own challenges, and working with it in general, because if you're ginger with it, then it'll stay together, and if you're rough with it, then it falls apart, and you just made a quick project a whole lot longer.
Well, see, we don't think about that stuff being delicate because it's metal. We think about it being sturdy. We don't think about it being delicate. So, but that's something that, that's a thing, right? It's delicate too.
It is. A lot of it. The old stuff is, and you have to be delicate with it the whole way. All the way to the cast bronze. I've got some of that in the shop, and you've got one shot. And if you booger it up, then you're gonna be spending a while fixing that boo boo. But when you do get it to go right the first time, it's a great feeling, and it looks great.
And this is a guy, when you call him, it's not a guy that's never left the area. You've got stuff all over the country, young man.
I do. I've that recent wall panel that went to Texas, and as far as that goes, there are several things that I've either built or worked on that will be in some larger shows in Texas and Atlanta. It's all over. The guys I work for, they really travel a lot, and it's they know how to move some of those more rare, beautiful things. But it's.
Well, I'll tell you, we are proud of you. Whether you're going to he's pretty humble, so whether or not you're going to brag on you, I'm going to brag on you just a little bit because, or a lot of bit, because you deserve it, and we sure appreciate it. He's got stuff all over the place, and designers working with him. And if you've got metal work, you got a question, you need some help repairing, and the old stuff, the new stuff. If you want a little help designing on a new house or maybe a business, give them a phone number to give you a call at.
The best way to reach me is at 270-348-8318.
Well, we sure appreciate it.
Oh,
I gave him a holler on the at last minute, and he said, well, sure, and I appreciate that so much. So, 905 with Mike Young, and, of course, tell him the business name, and are you on Facebook? You got a website?
The name is Young's Wrought Iron, and the Facebook page is the same. And if you're on my Facebook, then you can look it up. It's in there. But yeah, give me a call. I'm getting ready to go quote some rails today, but I don't have a problem coming out to you and measuring you up and seeing what you need. But
well, thanks so much. It's Coffee Talk and Mike Young in 1580 103.3 WPKY.